Hi, and today is Thursday and it's the end of the week for us today because it's a very special day tomorrow. We're celebrating 75 years of VE Day. However, today it is time for a chapter of our story and it is called Minus 50 Doughnuts. At the start of lunchtime, and before I'd had the chance to escape, Jane chaired the first meeting of the Old People's Tea Party Committee, i.e. her, Rosie and me. It was an absolute disaster. For a start, I was annoyed at being there. This wasn't what I expected. I don't like old people. It was because Tuesdays are the best days for school dinners. If you get in early, it's hot dogs, followed by profiteroles, which are a bit like doughnuts, but filled with cream and covered in chocolate. They're not as good as the real thing, but still better than getting a kick in the throat. Obviously, these are the popular choices, so they run out fast. If you're late, all that's left is cheese omelette, and it looks and tastes like an old trainer insole. I can't say I've ever eaten one of them. And there might be fruit. Pointless, except in Starburst and jam. The other two didn't seem bothered about this. I was doomed. We sat down round a table. Mrs. McDonald had put Mr. Wiggles into one of those plastic balls that rodents run around in on the floor. She was lying down next to him, clapping her hands and saying, "Let's hustle!" And Sweat is just the fat crying and faster. You want to fit into that special Spider-Man costume Mummy made for you, don't you? Oh my goodness, can you imagine a guinea pig in a Spider-Man's outfit? Yes, I thought the last one was a wee bit weird too. Mr. Wiggles sat completely still. His flabby body was spreading out across the bottom of the ball like a bag of custard. "Okay," said Jane. "Lots to organise. So, let's get started. What's first?" "Roman shouldn't be allowed to help," Rosie said. She was brushing her hair and she paused for a moment to get rid of a tangle. "He's weird and horrible." I said nothing. Although the last 4 words weren't very nice, I have to say, I didn't mind the first bit. "That's my boyfriend you're talking about," said Jane. "Anyway, Roman's agreed to provide the cakes for the tea party." "I have?" I said. Good. About time he did something nice," Rosie said, taking a quick glance in her handheld mirror to check her hair was perfect. Jane ignored her. "Yes, the school's offered to buy some biscuits, but I think the old people deserve better than a rich tea, don't you? You'll need to bring the money tomorrow." "Well, maybe we should vote on that," I said. "Well, you did let Darren Gamble steal my doughnut," Jane said, smiling in a way that was kind and slightly threatening at the same time. "So, I vote that you should." "Oh, I agree with Jane," said Rosie. 2 votes to 1. Cough up the dosh. "So, I found out how many are coming," said Jane, "and just the 47 doughnuts should do it." 47? I said. "That's almost 1,000,000. I think he needs to improve his maths. Jane put on a baby voice. "Oh, Wommy," she said. "You'll get the donuts, won't you, for me?" There was a long pause. "And for the old people, of course," she said quickly. "But I don't have 47 doughnuts," I protested. 49, replied Jane. "Hold on a minute, you just said..." Jane tickled me under the chin like I was a flipping donkey. "Well, you might as well get 2 for me while you're at it." 2? You know, one to replace the one that Darren Gamble stole and the other one because, well, I just want another one. "But I don't have 49 doughnuts, I protested yet again. You don't need the doughnuts, Romy Womy, Jane said. You just need the money for the doughnuts. Well, how am I supposed to get hold of that sort of money? I spluttered. He's doing a lot of spluttering, isn't he? Rosie folded her arms. Told you he was nasty. Now he wants the old people to starve as well. Oh, that's it, said Mrs. McDonald. She called, staring right at me. Mrs. McDonald, Roman's trying to kill some old people. Oh, don't do that, Roman, said Mrs. McDonald, not looking up. Carefully, she rolled the exercise ball down a ramp she'd made out of dictionaries and atlases. It trundled along the floor, bashed into a chair leg and came to a stop. Mr. Wiggles looked at her grumpily. Oh, I didn't know a guinea pig could look grumpy. Okay, I said. I'll try, but I can't promise. Excellent, said Jane. Don't forget the money tomorrow. Mrs. McDonald said she'd go and buy them for us. Mrs. McDonald rolled the ball back up to the top of the ramp and waved a hand to us. Yes, whatever I've got to get. Lots of salad for Mrs. Wiggles anyway. Oh, Mrs., it's Mr. Wiggles. And you'd better give me your mobile number so I can contact you, Jane said. Well, do you really need it? I asked. My mobile number is exactly just like my dad's old one. I've only ever had one text from my mum, so I gave up charging it about 3 months ago. Ever since then, it's been gathering dust at the back of my bedside drawer. Boyfriends and girlfriends should stay in touch at all times, said Jane, passing me a piece of paper. I copied my numbers down for her. If I'm buying the doughnuts, what are you two going to be doing? Well, I'm organising the whole thing, said Jane. Rosie flicked back her oh-so-awesome hair, and I'm going to be the one who meets and greets the old people, of course, because I'm the most fabulous. I rolled my eyes. Well, there's no way we'd like a little freak like you near them, is there? She said, making a loser sign with her hand. Everyone in the class will meet them, said Mrs. McDonald, shoving the exercise ball down the ramp again and still not looking over. Rosie looked at me, her eyebrows raised. What, even that? Rosie, why are you being so mean to my boyfriend, said Jane. Is it because you're jealous? Rosie's slug's bum mouth tightened. Well, we've had all kinds of bums in this story, haven't we? We've had dogs' bums and never got slugs' bums. Well, Roman's mum said you used to want to marry him, said Jane innocently. I'm sorry if I've stolen him from you. www.I'mGonnaPuke.com, said Rosie. She turned up her nose and flounced out. Jane put her hand over her mouth. Oops, sensitive. Can't have her being mean to my Romy Womy, can I? Especially when you've got such an important job to do. Now, what about the entertainment? I tuned out as Jane spouted on at me about sing-alongs and dance routines. How was I meant to get hold of enough money for 49 doughnuts by Friday? Plus, I needed a doughnut for myself as well. I've never gone a whole day without a doughnut before. I was worried that if I didn't get one soon, there's a good chance I'd die. Well, I don't think so, do you? I did some sums in my head. Oh, it's going to get better at maths now. I had 0 doughnuts and I needed 50. Therefore, my calculations, it turns out, I officially owned minus 50 doughnuts. I tried to figure out what this would look like, but in my head it really hurt, so I had to stop. Eventually, Mrs. McDonald ended the meeting so she could go off to find some bubble wrap. She wanted to make Mr. Wiggles a special sweatsuit to help him lose weight when he did exercise. I don't think that guinea pig actually sweated, but I was so glad to escape that I didn't say anything. I've just got this vision of a guinea pig wrapped up in bubble wrap. Lunch was absolutely rubbish. There wasn't even any omelette left, so all I got was cold chips and a couple of really depressed looking fish fingers. Oh my goodness, we got a grumpy guinea pig and now we got depressed fish fingers. Of course, the profiteroles had all run out. In fact, after she'd stormed out of the meeting, Rosie had nabbed the last 4. She'd spent 10 minutes slowly eating them while looking right at me, just to rub it in. Then she announced to the whole room that she was full up and tipped the last one in the bin. I almost cried. I didn't realise that things were about to get worse. So that's the end of today's chapter, and tomorrow's will be... Oh no! No, we won't be here tomorrow. So Monday's chapter will be Aren't Doughnuts Healthy? All right, have a lovely weekend and I'll see you next week.